I'm Arthur, and you are watching the Bueno Power vlog. Alright, so this is some footage that I have, recording my progress of changing the pick guard of my J Mascis Jazzmaster that I did, I think mainly like last week or so. One of my orders came in for a white pick guard, and I decided to kind of just change it up just because the fact that, you know, the gold was just looking really, really ugly, and especially since I had stripped the paint off of the guitar, and it just looks like it was used for like years and years, and just kind of just came off by just my sweat or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I kind of fixed it up. Took about maybe an hour to do, and yeah, that was pretty much it. And I kind of like the look of it. And yeah, that's actually pretty much it, really. Since I am currently probably in the air, about to land uh, in Connecticut from Vegas, I figured that I should make this video beforehand to kind of fill in the gap and, make sure that my uploads are consistent, at least every Monday. Um, yeah, this is actually a recent thing that I did. And it's really nothing different. Nothing really different about it other than the color. I did change the knobs here. Let me see if I can just put this in the middle there. And yeah, I changed the knobs. It felt easier to kind of do the swells on these. And so it's definitely a lot more comfortable for my hand to do the volume swells and such. I also kind of changed the pickup switch, the direction, because usually on Jazz Masters they go from left to right. I put it to up and down. It's sort of like a Gibson Les Paul kind of like habit that I have, where on the top of the Gibson is the pickup switch, and it's usually up and down. And so that's the kind of change that I made. These right here, this switch that actually gives a filter to the neck pickup, it's still not working. And I don't know what the fuck is happening with it, but it's still... It can still act as if like a kill switch of some sort. It's neat, man. I mean, this Jazzmaster is probably one of my favorite things, one of my favorite guitars right now. The only thing I'm having issue with it really is obviously the pickup that, or this, at least in this position, that it's not working. And I think it's a common thing for most Jazzmaster guitars for it to fail on you. And most guitarists don't even use it. I don't know why. It actually gives out this kind of cool tone, especially if you're doing like jazz like solos, like stuff like that. That's kind of melodic and fast, and definitely gives that kind of cool sound to it. that I kind of want to get back. I really like that part of the Jazzmaster. Um, that's one of the issues, and not only that, the other issue is that the action on this guitar is still kind of garbage. It was garbage when I bought it, and it still continues to be. And in fact, I had to actually change the string, the gauge of it from 11s back to 10s, and it's a little disappointing just for the fact that like I want to have a thicker string when I'm holding chords and when I'm doing scales, but at the same time, I'm kind of growing into that point where size 10s are becoming more comfortable for me, and especially for a thumb picker like myself, who's kind of finding that the string gauges really can hurt my thumb quite a bit. So yeah, and that's one thing that I've kind of noticed that's been sort of a big improvement to my playing, is that the string gauges have been a lot. It's been a big thing for me just for the fact that it's easier on my hands. And let's talk about actually the thumb pick progress, and I noticed that going back into these. They actually have been a lot better to use in the recent months. I did try using these picks, and I think I did showcase this a while back. But it's a little too it pokes out a little too much from my thumb. Let's get this going here. Like the upstroke, it kind of doesn't do it for me. It kind of gets stuck. And what's cool about these Fred Kelly Bumblebee picks is that the upstrokes are a lot easier to work with. And not only that, like I noticed that my picking is a lot different now. Before, when I was holding the thumb pick, I was actually playing like it was just a regular guitar pick. But I noticed that now the thumb picking, or the thumb pick rather, it's just now it's just. It's just a single, like, kind of just, I'm just using my thumb now. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot more easy for me to kind of grab chords and like do independent like riffs or lines. I can still kind of. You know what I mean? I know it's dirty playing, like always. I'm still having kind of issues with it. But again, I noticed that like a lot of my guitar playing has gotten a lot more better because of it. Yeah, this guitar is it's actually teaching me how to play a little bit differently, and instead of using the the neck pickup all the time, I'm also using the the bridge pickup as well. Fuck. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's really cool. It's a really cool thing to have. I really do enjoy this guitar quite a bit, and I'm definitely gonna do a lot more customization or a lot of fixing up until I get it to where I want it to be. Um, Also, it's like the position of the guitar. I'm still having to kind of keep it right to where my chest is at, and it's just the playing. It's easier for me to do the 4-stroke tremolo. I'm still kind of working on the 5-stroke tremolo, the flamenco style of guitar playing. A lot of the legato kind of stuff too. But it's still a work in progress. Yeah, and that's really it. Really for this guitar, I am just kind of doing my best to kind of shape it into something that I like about it, and that's what I love about Fender, Squier types of guitars, because the customization on it's a lot more easier than a Gibson, to be honest. Um, and yeah, I love it. I love this guitar. It's one of my favorites. I think that it's probably going to be one of my last guitars that I purchase for a very long time, until any of my guitars like become like unplayable, but I don't see that happening actually. And at this time, I kind of wanted to do a couple of updates on things other than my sort of change on the faceplate of the guitar. So as far as the project that I've been working on over the last 7 months, it's still going. I haven't changed my rhythm of it. I'm still thinking about it. I'm still struggling on it, in which should be the case. If I'm not struggling on it and I'm not having fun doing it, then there potentially could be a problem, there. On the photography side, the images are starting to come along. I'm noticing that, I'm not necessarily trying to force to get pictures in, and usually I'm photographing and how I feel and what photographing the images at the moment that I felt something. Really, I'm really taking my time, gathering all the images that I've been sort of gathering over the last 7 months. And when I think about a picture, it usually doesn't turn out, but in this case it kind of does. And since the medium is just only black and white Instax film, it's gotten a lot easier for me to kind of just say, it's okay to kind of not take pictures, just kind of just observe and just feel it out. The same goes with the music, And so for this last 7 months, I've noticed that my creativity through music has been kind of changing, and I've been kind of looking at sounds a little bit differently, and structures. I came into the project thinking one thing, and over the last 7 months, it's become another thing. It's an instrumental project that I wanted. I wanted an instrumental project, but I also had thought about how am I gonna make this sound interesting? How am I gonna make it different from all the other instrumental bands that are out there? And I kind of just said I don't really care. It doesn't matter like if this is different or not. What the whole point of me doing this, kind of thing is to kind of sort of explore a new avenue of sounds that I have never really approached in my life. So I'm using keys. I'm using, obviously guitars and bass, programmed drums. I'm looking to do, horn sections and stuff. Maybe even like string sections to even fill up the music. And most of these recordings I've been doing have they're not complete. They're full songs, they're all laid out and stuff, but they are definitely not complete. And I can be I had to kind of understand that, just for the fact that like these songs they don't have enough oomph in them. And since I'm doing this project where I'm making a song once a month, you know what I'm saying, I shouldn't expect to finish it right then and there. And so it kind of made me feel a little bit better about the project. It made me feel about how I could, sort of approach the songs maybe even differently after all the songs are finished. And I think that's what the goal is to make a song every month and to kind of like, blueprint how I felt for that month creating it. And I shouldn't be afraid to sort of, go back later and add or take away or change things up. This is just really just blueprints of music and of songs. And I think that's what kind of made me understand how important it is just to kind of just put your ideas down and let it kind of marinate later. Listen to the songs and just kind of let it kind of grow with you for the next whatever amount of months. So I'm gonna make it sort of a really bold. Hopefully, I can make it a bold project where I make it into a nice book. I have good recordings. The songs are polished and finished. And I think this is kind of the avenue of how I want to create art for the rest of my life, is to fuse both mediums together and to make into some sort of concept, like a diary of some sort, and not feel so I feel so afraid to talk about or play music and how I felt instrumentally, and maybe even make little diaries or poems, or have singers or other other musicians to be part of it. I don't even know if this music could even be played live. And that's not my first thing I'm thinking about now. I'm thinking about the blueprint. I'm thinking about how I can write all this shit. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm doing my best to kind of work a system of music and photography, and making sure that that flow keeps going and going, and and just not be afraid to kind of try new things, because now I've noticed that since I haven't really boxed myself that much onto how I want to hear the sounds and kind of lay it down, I'm okay to kind of write and let things sort of process and maybe even change it later on. This project's going to be a pretty big project for me, and I think this is going to be really fun to kind of work with, So yeah, that's pretty much it. I kind of want to shout out the band Farouk. They have a tour that's coming up, and I think it's coming up the first day of August, I believe. They are friends of mine who have been working on this band for many years. recently had a recording done with Glacier Recordings. They released 2 songs just recently as well at the time of this recording on YouTube. So if you check out the Glacier Recordings YouTube page or channel, yeah, you'll definitely find their songs there. Daniel, Philip, Eric, those guys have been a pretty big influence to me as far as music is concerned. And people wouldn't think that because, they are, a hardcore metal act. But, hardcore and metal have been a prominent figure into my life lately. And they've really shown me how to kind of like approach the style of music and not be afraid of doing it. So shout outs to them. Hopefully you guys can check them out on tour. I think they're doing a full West Coast tour, about maybe a week or two. And their hard work pays off, man. I really hope that these guys really make it and, get their career, out there because, being a musician is just, it's tough. And to make meaningful music without the aid of, commercial entities, it's tough. So they are definitely a great band, and I would recommend you guys kind of check them out. So yeah, that pretty much does it for this episode of the Bueno Power Vlog. Thank you guys for watching. I know it's just a regular video of me just ranting on about my progress, but that's kind of what I do when I want to talk about what's been happening with me creatively. So yeah, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you want videos every Monday, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified for my uploads every Monday, go ahead and hit that notification bell as well. And as always, thank you for watching the Bueno Power Vlog. Peace out, guys.